Hi, welcome to my show. Today's guest is Jeff Szymanski, and Jeff has been a firefighter for 6 years. That's a very honorable job. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Thank you. Well, there was actually when I learned about you, it wasn't because of you being a firefighter. It was because of Emergency Medical Form. It's an app that you created, and it was very interesting because it's a free app.
Yeah.
And I was interested to find out, why did you create it? What was your purpose? But before we go into that, so people can understand, the audience can understand why you even put I know you said you spent a couple of years to create this. What is your background? How did you end up becoming a firefighter? And then then people can kind of understand why you invested all this time into creating this app.
Yeah. It's kind of a long story. To make it quick, I started working on fire damaged houses, and instead of fixing the houses, I wanted to put the fires out. So I looked into becoming a firefighter, and in the process, it kind of requires you to be EMT or paramedic. I set out to do it, and I went through the schooling and fire academy and everything like that, and started working for a private ambulance company. I got hired in an ER at a hospital, and now I'm a full-time firefighter.
Well, cool. That is, like I said, it's a very honorable job. But to top it off, again, with the app that you do, and we'll explain to that. You have a couple of videos here. But you did leave a story out that when I heard about it, about what happened when you were 19, it just seems like this job is your calling. And what happened at 19 years old?
It was 2006. My house caught on fire, or where I grew up, and it was an interesting day. And that summer, I got to stay in a hotel for 5 months as a fire restoration came in and redid our house. And I actually got a job with the company that did it, and the owner of the company actually met one of my sisters, and they got married, and they have 3 children now. And he actually is a part-time paid-on-call firefighter as well for Utica Fire Department. And I got to work on that department as well for a couple of years. So.
Well, as a storyteller, I love that part of it because I really feel like there's so much meaning in that. So here you're fire. Nobody was hurt. In your house?
That was the biggest. That was the biggest concern, and I'm very thankful for that.
But then you got called into this whole other world, and so you created what I found out because I went on your website and I saw that you created this app to help people. You can explain it better. So you want to help people, especially senior citizens, that when the paramedics get there, when the ambulance gets there, they have information on your medication, your history, health, stuff like that. Explain that a little bit more.
Yeah, it's actually for everyone. Senior citizens, we tend to get maybe more calls for the elderly, but it is really designed for anyone. And there is certain questions that are on the form that's provided, real simple and basic for people to answer, whatever they feel comfortable with. And they can also provide really anything they want to share in case of an emergency to first responders, such as EMTs or paramedics.
And they don't have to do that only through the app. They can do that on the website because I know.
Yes.
They can and then they can print it out. You were suggesting to me that even for them to even have the sheet, not necessarily even if they don't go on the app, but for them to have it there, so when the paramedics come, then there's something that they can show them.
Yeah, that will help tremendously. Just even using pen and paper, even going on the website, printing out a form, really trying to spread medical awareness about the importance of being prepared for an emergency and how much it helps. Not only does it help paramedics, but most importantly, it helps you and a loved one.
And you shared a couple of stories with me, but right now I'm just going to show this short 1 minute video about the emergency medical form. And then maybe you can share some of the stories that you experienced where people, you say minutes matter, like seconds matter. And of course they do when it comes to that. But I'm going to play this short video first.
Timing is critical in any medical emergency. Emergency medical form makes sure you and your family are safe in the event of an emergency. We want to help you stay safe before an emergency happens. Sign up online and fill out EMF. It will be stored securely in our database, so you and the first responders will be prepared when you need it most. Emergencies come without a warning. With EMF, when an accident occurs and a 911 call is placed, dispatchers and first responders will have access to all of your medications and paper forms right on the app. When they arrive at the scene, they are now ready and prepared. Emergency medical forms is 100% free to use, and your information is protected and secured in our private database. Our primary goal is to keep you and your loved ones safe. Because when seconds matter, you can't afford to waste minutes on paper medical forms. Be prepared with emergency medical form.
I had mentioned to you that my mom lives with me, and I've been her caregiver for over 4.5 years. And even before that, before she moved into my house, I took care of a lot of her, like taking her to the doctor and when ambulance came and stuff. I never really thought to do something like that. And there is a great responsibility when they do come. You have to be aware. I remember I have to sit there and take all they ask me what medications is she taking, and I have to get like all her history out each time. I didn't really think just to organize it in this kind of a format. What do you think? I mean, have you come to experiences like that where you see that people are not prepared, and what could that cost a person when they're not prepared for something like this?
Unfortunately, more see it all the time. Sometimes people do have a piece of paper or something organized, which helps a lot, and it's very appreciative. So, but yet, it just.
And then, like in my case, on top of that, my mom doesn't speak English. Okay, and so there's that extra burden, that on me, and there's extra fear that if I'm not around, for instance, or if somebody else is there, they're not going to be so familiar with what she needs, and she can't communicate what she needs. And again, that creates that whole danger.
Yeah. So my mom, real similar situation. Like my grandpa didn't speak English; he spoke Polish, and if there was ever an emergency, it would be hard for the paramedics to communicate with them unless they spoke Polish, of course. But my mom had to be there to translate, or my uncle or my aunt, and really, we had my grandpa prepared like medications or medical history, and luckily my mom was always there to kind of help and translate. But just like, for example, if they had my app or a piece of paper that said, hey, emergency contact, primary language is Polish, call emergency contact, I have a translator right there. I have other calls I've been on where a person fell once, hit their head, and he was bleeding, and it was at a sports store. And the person had a medical condition. He wasn't making sense, and he wasn't speaking English. I knew he was saying something, but it wasn't English. And the person he was with wasn't in the store. They were out in the parking lot. And we were there for like a good 15 minutes went by before we finally found a translator. But let's just say that if he was prepared, or maybe using my app, we could access his information and call his emergency contact or find the primary language he spoke. They could even include like his medical conditions he had. If someone falls and hits their head, it's very important to know what kind of medications they're on. Are they on any blood thinners? That's a very important question that we need to know.
And I'm thinking, I know we did emphasize like senior citizens because of the fact that they're more prone to maybe need paramedics, but I'm imagining this could apply for anybody. Sometimes kids, I know in my kids' school, one time my daughter said that one of the kids, they fell and that they had to call the emergency. Even situations like that, so then their parents is being called by the time their parents come, or they have any kind of connection. So I can see the necessity for it for everybody.
Yeah. Kids, a lot of them have allergies and stuff like that. A lot of people don't have maybe medical problems, but they might want to share, whatever the case may be in case of emergency, that they would like first responders to know.
Like you said, like the contact information and stuff
Sure.
like that, just the basics, yeah. Well, it sounds pretty easy. So
Simple.
Yeah.
That's
So
my
how
goal.
simple? Tell me.
Oh,
Is there,
it's so simple. So many people they have Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. They have all these things. Take 5 minutes. Be prepared for an emergency when it's really needed the most. And it's you fill it out and it's going to always be there, and you can update it whenever you want. Not only that, it's a place to store information, so you can store any additional paperwork, EKGs, whatever the case may be.
yeah. So it does say that. So if somebody, you advise, like if somebody can't fill it out themselves, to have a caregiver or have somebody to do it for them, and then
They could do that, absolutely.
and then but when they do that on the website, then they have to upload that form. Is that the difference with the website versus
The website is you sign up, and then once you log in, it'll immediately take you. You just add a form, and you can provide whatever information you want. And so you can create a form for yourself or a loved one. All you do is click add form. So you can add as many forms as you want to your profile, and it will always be saved there. So then that person can log in and update it whenever they really want, and it's saved on their end. And then if there's ever an emergency, paramedics that have been verified to use the app can search and access that form in case of an emergency, whether it's before or while on scene. So like, let's say someone fills out the form and they have nothing on them. Like, that's the benefit of it, is that it can be accessed anywhere from any remote location. So
just by the paramedics? So how about like hospitals and stuff? They can't,
I would like to get into hospitals,
you
like
want to,
ERs,
you're trying
absolutely.
to, because this is fairly new. I mean,
yeah,
isn't it? Or I mean, it took you years.
2 years.
2 years, yeah. But you're trying to create this kind of awareness so that everybody understands the importance of using it, and then it spreads to where hospitals would even be using it, hopefully in the future, which I can see it would make everybody's life easier.
Yeah, they're gonna ask the same questions in an emergency room as well. And like main goal is to spread medical awareness about like what happens in an emergency and what people can do to be prepared. And of course, I'd love people to use my app. And it gives people, like, I want people to take responsibility for their health and be like, hey, yeah, I'm going to store my information here, and I can log in on my app, and I can access, a place to keep my medications organized, or emergency contacts, doctors, and their phone numbers. So, and they can even upload additional attachments if they want, And there's many
regarding their conditions, yeah.
And if they want to choose whatever they feel comfortable with sharing. So, and then when there's an emergency, that paramedic can access it. And I can share with you so many stories. Like every day I go on a run, I'm like, well, if they had this, it'd be so much easier,
Do you share that with them when you are?
No, I haven't
you
yet.
don't
I'm
share?
just getting started with this.
Because once I found out, honestly, when I found out about it, I just kind of felt like, again, because of my mom, and I thought, wow, this would make things so much easier. And especially like if there was somebody else that's there when the doctor comes. She gets home care now, so the doctor comes and visits her. But still, they need to be aware of what she's taking, and when the paramedics come. So I feel that it's greater weight on me because I'm the one that knows everything. So I have to share all of that. But sometimes when you have this information and you can just guide the person where it's at, So is there any perhaps like restrictions that you think people might have about using it aside from just filling out the form? I mean, are there
restrictions?
Well, not restrictions. Like, do they feel like they might not be comfortable to use it? Is there any reason?
No, I think that it's designed for only paramedics can access it in case of an emergency. Like
that's right. Yeah.
But it's interesting because it's not like I'm asking you for the information.
Your credit card information.
You're supplying it. I don't need to know. I don't want to know your social security number. I don't even care about the health insurance. I don't need that. I don't need to know that. I only ask the most minimal and basic questions on the form is provided just to help you in an emergency.
No,
nothing like that. Absolutely not. And it's cool because they provide what they feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
Whatever they want to share. And the form is there for people to go off of, and each form is going to be different. Each call is different. Each patient is different.
Yes.
So so they can tailor it to what they want.
That's really wonderful. I think it's really a great idea, and I want to go more into how you even put this together, because committing yourself to creating this kind of an app, I'd like to learn more about that. But I want to show this other film that we have, like a little short video that explains it further.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say though,
Sure.
that first video was that was the objective. That's my goal, overall goal of Emergency Medical Forum.
Okay.
That first video. Yeah.
And then let's see this one.
Preparing for an emergency doesn't need to be difficult or time-consuming. There's the old, outdated way of being ready that involves easy-to-lose paper forms. And then there's the new way. Introducing Emergency Medical Form. Emergency Medical Form makes sure that first responders know your name, current medications, and important medical history either before or when they arrive on scene. It's 100% paperless, and all of your information is safely and securely stored in the cloud. The Emergency Medical Form app is available to anyone with a smartphone, and the app works with our website. When you sign up, you can enter any necessary emergency medical information by answering the questions provided on the form. You can even add additional attachments to ensure all the important information is included. That means first responders will now be able to search and access your form in case of an emergency. The Emergency Medical Form is perfect for senior citizens, those in assisted living homes, families, and more. Keep your loved ones safe the easy way with the Emergency Medical Form.
I gotta tell you, I'm really impressed with this. Honestly, that you created this app, and a free app. Okay, so there's a lot of love and effort that went into this, obviously. So I'd like to know more about the process. Coming to a decision to do something like that and actually doing it. I know a lot of people want to create things, want to do something better for the world. I know that you said that this is going to make a better world because everybody will by everybody feeling like they're safer. And I really, when I saw that and read that, I thought, this is what this is all about. It's like it's a gift that you're providing for people. But having that idea, wanting to give something of service and actually creating an app, can you just tell us a little bit about that process? And maybe it might inspire people to even, everybody has in their heart something that they'd like to create and actually finish. It's a long process. Yeah. So I'd love anything that you can share about what got you from A to Z.
Passion, I think is one word I could use to describe it. I believe in helping people, and that's what Emergency Medical Forum is all about. Also, seeing, and I believe in solutions, not problems. And I also believe in passion and caring for one another, and in the pre-hospital setting, even if that means challenging the status quo.
So, but the effort that put something like this together, it took a lot of time and patience. Is it because you saw the end result that?
Yeah. So you can either focus on what you want, or you can see the things in the way of what you want. So I see what I want, and with this app, I'm trying to spread medical awareness and showing the benefits of this app, and trying to share with the community the importance of being prepared, and when they are prepared, how much it helps as first responders and paramedics, but most importantly, how it benefits them and their loved ones. And
where do you see this app, yourself and the app, 5 years from now?
I'm confident. The app, I have a lot of hopes. I have a lot of things I want to do to it, like so much more I want to add to it and stuff like that. But I got it to the point, just enough to where I can kind of show it and get it out there. So I'm really happy and thankful to where I'm at today with it. But I do know in the future that paper, everything's going to be electronic,
Yes.
whether it's my app or not.
Yes.
But I do know that this is going to exist in the future.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's I mean, I see it like a necessity.
Yeah.
You know, you're helping the individual, and then you're helping the medical field as well. Both areas are being helped, because I'm sure it's easier for them too, right? As you said, when you get somewhere, in the back of your mind, you're thinking, if you had this information,
Always.
it would be
Always.
so much easier.
in the way that-
Especially
yeah,
since
always.
I can see your frustration when you get there. Because
Yeah.
you created this, you're thinking all these thoughts of how much easier it would
That's
be
kind of
otherwise.
that's kind of how it started.
Yeah. And so what can people do? So, of course, people can go on the website, which is just like the name is the medical.
Emergency medical form.
Emergency medical form. So they can just go on there, and then it's just they sign up, and then they fill out.
Create a username, password, log in.
And then there's a form that they fill out that's in there that's basically covers, or they can do that
Additional
on their,
information.
phone. If they do the app, it's on their phone. And what advice would you give them regarding how to spread awareness about the app?
I think just using it.
To start,
Just to start using it, learn about it, because the questions provided on the form are just real basic and simple, and those are questions that we ask during like every medical emergency, regardless of the call. So and they go a long way. Even though the form I kept it real short and simple, but those questions help tremendously and go a very, very long way, just by treating someone like each call, whether they're having chest pain, trouble breathing. I need to know what kind of medication they're in. Do they have a medical history? Has this ever happened before? Do they have allergies?
I'm almost also thinking that I also feel that maybe even people end up learning about themselves.
Yes.
And about the person that they're filling out the form for, they're helping them. Like some of these things that you're saying, again, with regards to my mom, her medical history is very long. And there are things that I'm not as aware of. Like I used to take her to the doctor for one thing, like a long time ago, and my sister used to take her for something else. And we might have different information. But to fill out one solid form, it kind of puts everything into one. And we both everybody ends up in the family learning exactly what my mom, the surgery she's had, what she's gone through. Because really, especially like my family is big, we're 10 people. So each one has helped in a different way. And so sometimes I think a lot of my family members don't know her history.
You guys all do what you can.
You're right, but they don't know her history.
That's a good point. A lot of times I'm on scene, and a family member's always like, what can I do to help? What can I do to help? And it's okay, where's the medications? They'll go gathering, but I'll tell you right now what you can do to help is fill out this form for them, whether it's on the app or on paper. And that's what they can do to help right now is take 5 minutes today and fill out that form.
And I think that's what I meant, when saying about how can people raise awareness about this. So even if they don't feel like they need to fill it out for whatever,
they know someone. I'm sure they know someone who could benefit from
somebody
this. Absolutely.
That you feel like, you know what, this is going to do you good.
Yeah.
And you might have more of a peace of mind once they, once they fill it out.
Absolutely.
But so we have about 5 minutes left, and I want you to take this opportunity. Is there anything else that you want to address about this, or your experience in creating it, or your experience as a firefighter? I mean, this is
experiences. I'm just going on medical calls, and I'm just like, I don't want to say annoying. I don't think that's the word, but I know I'm going to ask.
Frustrating.
It's frustrating, especially
'cause you
not for me, but the person, because they're trying to talk to me, and and I'm asking these questions that they could have already been answered before an emergency. It just makes sense. So, and the way the app works and how I can search people's forms, whether the other day, you know, 5 minutes left. I can share a couple stories, I
Yes,
guess.
please
Just,
share. Yeah, because I think what people need to know is for that simple 5 minutes, look at the difference. I can even feel the first, you're a very nice guy and you're very giving, and here you are. And those critical situations, I'm sure this is so important for you, and you want to get this message across that a 5 minute thing makes a big difference on the person and on you as well. So, yeah, please share. Some story.
The other day, I went on a call where there was a car. It was like a little car accident. The guy driving hit another car in front of him, and when they got out to see what was going on, the guy was unresponsive and he was slumped over on his seat. And when we got there, he was up unresponsive, and we're trying to figure out what's going on with him. And there's a couple things I thought about: is he a diabetic? Did he have a seizure? Is it a cardiac problem? So we're trying to assess him and figure out what's going on. And we're trying to, we look in his wallet, see if he has any, maybe a little medication list. Did we see any medications laying around in his car? And so let's just fast forward and say that he used my app, and I searched his license plate number, and yeah, because I'm putting that in the app, so they can people can put their license plate number.
Wow.
And then I can pull up their
Okay,
form.
because I was gonna say, like if he
yeah.
was
So
in that
and let's just say
situation,
I walk around his car, type in his license plate
Yeah.
number, and then it comes up that maybe he's a diabetic, he has cardiac problems, or he has a history of seizures. So then I can maybe that's what's going on. But he was a diabetic. His blood sugar was low. So just knowing that, and then we got him out of his car into our ambulance, and we got him some sugar and brought his blood sugar up.
This is a great example. This is really what you just said was a great example.
Yeah, there's been a couple calls like.
Well, yeah, because I'm imagining the scene, and as you're describing it, I'm thinking and here you guys trying to figure out, and I didn't even think about the part that you can put your license, with
then even you can search forms many different ways. That's just one of the ways.
Yeah.
But not everyone drives. There are a lot of senior citizens that are in these
Right.
assisted living homes. They don't drive, so they don't need to fill out license plate number. It's great. Some assisted what's that?
Yeah, but you said early on a couple of times that it's what you want to put too. That's another thing. So it depends on your situation. It depends on your situation. It depends on what you want to put, what you find is relevant. So there's you have a lot of power on what you think is relevant, and depending on your situation. Every individual, like you said, is different. Yeah.
Even got a call for difficulty breathing. Someone was having a hard time breathing, and she's trying to go in her purse looking for a medication list. And I feel bad because I want to help her, and she's trying to grab it, and at the same time I'm trying to treat her. So it'd be easier to say she didn't have to answer those questions. I can just be knowing the person before I arrive on scene, maybe, or while on scene.
Yes, just even hearing the stories, I'm feeling frustrated. I'm like, there's no reason not to go to emergency medical form. I know I'm gonna do this for my mom. Yeah, because it's important. I really, it's easier on me, and I should just have that on hand. I mean, it's not complicated. It would be a shame if I didn't put those 5 minutes into that. So I am going to be using that for sure. I think people should. And I think it's also unfair when people are coming to try to save your life, to help you, that they are put through more frustration than necessary. It's not good for them. It's not good for you. So anyway, there's no I don't see the reason for people not to use it. But I want to thank you so much for coming today. We're like out of time. I really want to thank you, Jeff, for coming today, sharing this, and creating such an incredible app that's of so much service. Really, thank you for doing that.
Thank you, Ann, so much for having me here.
And hey, we'll have you in the future too. I'm sure your app will add something to it, okay? Thank you.